Good news, Doctor Who fans, a brand new series is on the way. At least that's what appears to be happening, judging by what I've seen this morning. The BBC have issued a brief, and I've just gone through it all for an independent producer to take on production of a brand new Doctor Who series. Nothing to do with Disney, nothing to do with the existing Russell T Davies Bad Wolf produced show. This is going to be something completely different. So the BBC have issued a brief for a brand new animated Doctor Who series aimed for CBeebies, for children aged 4 to 6. And they have asked for a commission for 52 11-minute episodes, which will air in 2027, 28, and 2029. So this is quite good because it is looking forward a little bit into the future. I've had a look through the brief, and I have to say, maybe is a bit more where Doctor Who should have been going for quite a while. There's no indication now about who they're going to cast or anything like that, and there's going to be questions around that, I am sure. And I know there's a lot of people who are going to will kind of take fault with the idea of Doctor Who doing a kids show, but Doctor Who has often been mistaken for a kids show. It's not. It's a family piece of entertainment, always has been. But they have done spin-offs in the past which have been aimed sort of at lower audiences. There was the very misfired Class, which is more teenagers, but there was also the Sarah Jane Smith Adventures, which ran for several years and felt much more like old school Doctor Who and was quite successful, to be fair, but it was definitely aimed at a kind of younger market, maybe very young teens, sort of kids up. But this is going to be aimed at preschoolers, basically, and very early schoolers. So 4 to 6. Animated, they're open to any kind of animation styles. It's going to be for one production company, not looking at a kind of co-production deal. BBC are going to retain all rights, and none of the current Doctor Who creative staff are involved in this commissioning process, which is interesting. It does look, I mean, at first glance, the BBC is reasserting its control over the franchise, rather than maybe sort of those independent production companies. And I don't know that means that whatever is going on with the live action show is now parked somewhere else. But it is quite exciting, I think, to look at this and to have something that is more openly acceptable for our kids to watch. They're very clear as well within the brief that the Doctor should have, that the Doctor's history is important. They want him to have his sonic screwdriver. They want to have him as iconic TARDIS. He is a Time Lord with 2 hearts who comes from the planet Gallifrey. It says that he should have a strong moral compass, that he's incredibly intelligent, especially when it comes to science. They're looking for villains within the piece that are more bumbling and rather than kind of overtly menacing. So it will feel much more like a lot of other kids shows, but still having a lot of that Doctor Who ethos. The Doctor in this has a very clear set of moral guidelines, and that's something which I think on the TV show has got a little bit muddied in the last few years and has maybe taken away from part of the fun of the show. So do you know what? Look, there is always room for more elements to the franchise. I'm always happy to kind of watch another spin-off. If we can have things like Torchwood and Class and Sarah Jane Adventures, why can we not have, a youth Doctor Who, something for the kiddos? Because let's be honest, adults, you're going to watch it anyway. I mean, some of my favorite shows that have ever existed were aimed at kids, from things like Trapdoor and Will-O-the-Wisp when I was a kid. Things like Fraggle Rock and the Muppets, to something now like Bluey, which is quite honestly one of the best shows that exists ever. Kids shows are not a bad place to be, and I think redefining that character of the Doctor, making it sounds like he's much closer to the Doctor, he, she, they, we don't know yet. Sounds like the Doctor is much closer to what we used to have in the TV show, so I think that's good. I think it definitely sounds like a step in the right direction, and it does also look like the franchise is. Since the franchise is ongoing, that means that the show is going to be good in some way, shape, or form until 2029, and that is something that I think that we needed to hear. We needed some sort of positivity because there's lots of rumors going around at the moment, and obviously, like Big Finish still have their franchise and stuff for doing all the audio productions. I imagine Doctor Who isn't going to go away anytime soon. But I would be interested to hear, what are your thoughts? Is this something that sounds good to you? Is it something you would watch? Have you, like a kid's Doctor Who? This thing good? What sort of Doctor do you want to get from this? Yeah. What are your thoughts? Do you like the sound of this? My name is Robert J. Simpson. I'm an old school Doctor Who fan. I talk about pop culture on this channel. I'll talk about Doctor Who quite a lot as well. So look, follow me for more. Like and share all the rest of it. See you soon.